Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of United Talks podcast. Today we're going to be doing the takeaway show, basically what we learned from the chaotic 4-4 draw with Bournemouth at Old Trafford. One of the very many interesting games that we've watched this season, even though it was a game that put us on the edge of our seats, and it was a game that we could talk about, in years to come, basically how Man United could have taken an opportunity to win. And it was a game that actually, proved some narratives and debunked some narratives and everything in between. But it is what it is. We have to just basically break it down. So we're going to do the 5 main takeaways. We're going to do 3 bonus takeaways, and we're going to also do 3 positive spins. So basically spin on negative to positives. So let's get right to it. Let's not waste time. So first and foremost, the first takeaway from the game, basically Manchester United played 4-4 with Bournemouth. United's attack looked, the best it has been all season. But the defense has undermined the attack, basically. Scoring 4 goals at Old Trafford would normally guarantee, 3 points. The attacking combinations would actually be fluid. I mean, the attacking combinations were fluid, varied, and relentless. Matheus Cunha, shining, Bruno Fernandes, all interchanging with Mbeumo as well. Even though Mbeumo had a poor game today or on the day and all of that. Goes from midfield, wide areas, and central zones. I mean, goes from Cunha, goes from Bruno, goes from Ahmad as well. Casemiro, constant pressure forcing Bournemouth into mistakes. I mean, this wasn't just individual brilliance bailing United out. It was basically the structured attacking football with patterns, rotations, chemistry, evolution, and a bit of what you call transformative way of playing and all of that. Yeah. So every time that now the question is, I mean, despite the fact that we had a structured football with patterns and rotations and chemistry, there was a problem. And the problem was every time United seized control, the defensive structure collapsed, just enough to let Bournemouth back in. Evidenced in Semenyo's 1-1, that's a defensive structure collapse with Luke Shaw. Evidenced in, so many other games we could talk about. But this wasn't just a lack of effort, it was a lack of control. Which takes me to number 2. Diallo is playing like a first choice starter, not a rotation option. Obviously, it's his last game before the AFCON. Basically, Ahmad has always set the tone, especially on the right side, and it's like our entire right side has gone to the AFCON in Ahmad, Nusai Bajrawi, and Mbeumo. There was basically a setting of the tone by Ahmad, sharp movement between the lines, quick decision making, confident finishing, and strong link up with Cunha and Mbeumo. He was consistently involved in United's best moments and looked fearless throughout. This wasn't just a young player having a good night, this was a player demanding responsibility. And at this point, Ahmad isn't knocking on the door, he's already inside the room. Basically, supposed to be the first name on the team sheet. We also have to think about from the perspective of the fact that obviously, anybody that wants to break into this team must actually have to apply themselves and demand more from themselves, as well as deliver what the manager is requiring. And then number 3 is Matheus Cunha, becoming the emotional leader of the front line. And Cunha's goal mattered, but his overall influence mattered even more. He won aerial duels, dropped deep to link up play, even to defend as well. Pressed relentlessly, created chances from nothing, took responsibility in big moments. I mean, the celebration with the Samba dance, Shamba shuffle, the badge case, has told you everything that you need to know about Cunha's love for the club. Cunha is fully invested emotionally and tactically, and is not just fitting in; he's setting the tone. Basically just setting the things in motion with regards to how he applies himself and all of that. Which takes us to number 4. That's United's biggest problem right now, and that is in-game management. It's not about talent, it's in-game management. The match was a case of poor game control, conceding immediately after halftime, losing shape after scoring, allowing Bournemouth to attack centrally far too easily, and also failing to slow the tempo when leading. You could also think about failing to wrestle control. You have to think about that from the perspective of, okay, we consider too early. And like I said in the match review, there's this 5-minute period where Man United lose control of games and lose connection. Amorim has said that it's as a result of losing connection. We lose control of games. When we lose control of games like that, it becomes a big deal because we now tend to we tend to concede quick fire goals, like concede 2 quick fire goals in 5 minutes in the second half, and it was a problem, right? So it's not just about talent and all of that. It's about trying to wrestle control. We didn't lose because we weren't good enough. Obviously, on the day we were, but we lost because we played emotionally instead of intelligently. At key moments. That's coaching and experience and maturity, not just quality, not squad quality. Obviously, Rúben Amorim, I just recently saw that Rúben Amorim said to the team to go for the juggler, to go for the next one, to go for 5. And yeah, at the end of the day, it didn't happen as everybody expected it to be and all of that. So it is a problem. If I'm going to be sincerely honest, it is a problem. And which begs the question, like, okay, Bosco's recently said something about, if Man United score, why don't we go for the second one? Why don't we go for the third one, the fourth, the fifth? Now, that's a perfect example of trying to go for the third one and all of that, fourth one and fifth. Not saying that we shouldn't be doing that, but because of the pressure, because of the fact that obviously you need certain things to click for you in defense before you can be able to confidently say, okay, you're going for the juggler. But no, we went for the juggler and we're not sure of our defense, and they switched off ball watching. And I've watched a couple of analyses that actually, defined it better to kind of tell us that, obviously, at some point, the players were ball watching, and now we're at the point where we are, losing shape or losing control or losing basically what's necessary to hold a lead and all of that. So we need a lot of experience in that regard. Obviously, our backline was pretty young in Euro and Heaven, 19 and 20. So pretty much they'll be a little bit naive and stuff. Which takes me to number 5. Then Lammers had a mixed night, but also saved the day. His big saves, but also questions remain. He had a big night. He had a night to remember with so many saves that could have that kept us in the game. And then obviously, in as much as we want to say St. Lammers saved our record of whenever we go up at halftime, we never lose at Old Trafford. When you look at that, you have to think about the perspective of, okay, he saved us from conceding, but also Mbeumo and Cunha and a couple other players like Ahmad missed a lot of chances. There were so many block shots at the end of the first half. You have to think about it from that perspective as well. So St. Lammers made some excellent reflex saves late on, especially from Brooks. But the goals conceded, particularly Tavernier's free kick and Kropi's winner, will raise questions. But obviously, these are goals that you can't stop. So whether it raises questions or not, these are goals that you actually can't stop. Now, with regards to positioning, weight transfer, anticipation, these were margins that matter. Just, kind of like small margins, yeah? Now, he's clearly talented. He's clearly still learning, but the game won't define him. Basically, this game won't define him. He still has a good record with only 1 loss in all of the games he's featured. But it does underline that United are still in a transitional phase between potential and consistency. Which takes me to 3 key bonus takeaways that we're going to talk about. Bonus 1: Bruno Fernandes is still the one who changes games instantly. Even on a night when United were chaotic, Bruno Fernandes delivered a perfectly taken free kick, dangerous set piece delivery to create an assist for Casemiro, constant forward momentum, leadership when the game was slipping. He didn't hide. He was demanding the ball when it mattered the most. That free kick wasn't just technique; it was authority. He was dared by Van Nielsen, and he delivered on the dare to score that free kick. So Bruno Fernandes delivering again, on a night when it looked like United lacked a bit of, X factor in the game. So, with regards to that, you have to think about it from the perspective of the fact that Bruno has always delivered. You hear all sorts of arguments, all sorts of talk with regards to him, but it doesn't change the fact that he has always delivered for this team. He has always delivered for this club, and you can't undermine and understate the importance of his delivery for the club. Because the truth is, in as much as we want to deny it to ourselves, Bruno Fernandes has always delivered for the club. He has always delivered, and that's a fact that most people won't want to accept, right? That's a fact that most people won't accept, but it is what it is. He's a leader when it matters most, and obviously he scores and delivers goals when needed as well. Then you have to also look at number two. Bonus number two, Casemiro still has value, just not as a 90-minute controller, but also is going to miss the next game against Villa. Casemiro was crucial, and his area presence helped at the set pieces, especially in both boxes. He was defending and also attacking. And when the game became stretched, his lack of mobility showed a little bit, because obviously he got that yellow card. But it's not his fault, isn't it? Right? Used correctly in specific spaces, he still contributes. As to manage transitions for 90 minutes, well, that's where there's the issue. But then he still is a valuable player in this team, and he has always delivered. Then you have to think about bonus number three. Bournemouth exposed United central defensive spacing. Almost every Bournemouth goal came from central overloads, like they always did. They capitalized on it in Heaven there, and the space between Heaven and Martinez, and Heaven and Euro, and Heaven and Shaw, and all of that. Runners between the centre backs, midfield lines, being bypassed too easily, especially when Menu came on for Casemiro. This wasn't just bad luck. It was a structural vulnerability that needs addressing quickly. And obviously, it shows that we miss Matheus de Ligt, one of our most consistent defenders, and Harry Maguire. But it is what it is. These are the games where you bring on Harry Maguire and Matheus de Ligt. Matheus de Ligt plays as right centre back, and Maguire plays as centre back to see out the game, with Lisandro Martinez playing on the left and Luke Shaw sitting on the bench or something to see out the game. But it is what it is. Then, so positive bonus point number three, that Bournemouth exposed central areas and all of that. Then you have to think about the three positive spins from the game. So we're going to spin the negatives into positives. So the positive spin number one is that Man United scored 4 goals with our new attacking line. Basically, everybody getting involved, barring Bryan Mbeumo. You have to look at the goals from Cunha, the expected assist from Šeško, the goal from Ahmad, the goal from Casemiro, and the goal from Bruno Fernandes. So basically, one positive spin is that goals came from everywhere, right? But then we still conceded 4 goals, right? United created and converted chances without, having to rely on individuals to actually do the delivery. And that suggests that the system, not just individuals, is working. And then positive spin number 2 is that the crowd never turned. Neither did the team. Basically, at 3-2 down, Old Trafford could have gone flat. Instead, it roared the team forward. United responded with 2 goals in 2 minutes, and that resilience hasn't always been there in the recent seasons, especially in the last 5 to 10 years. And then, obviously, positive spin number 3 is the fact that it felt like a team learning, not a team declining. Obviously, contrary to popular opinion, it was frustrating. Yes, it should have been. The game should have been won. Yes, but it wasn't. This wasn't regression. This was a young, evolving, still learning, painful lesson in real time. The attacking ceiling is rising, and the defensive control needs a lot of work. And just in the point when Man United will begin to find a way to turn the corner, then certain things happen within the game, and it proves to us that we also need depth in midfield and in defense. And then obviously, Menu got on the field to show what he's made of and how important he is to the team. But also, on the other hand, as much as we want to accept the fact that Menu has talent, there were evident lapses in the midfield when he came on. But it's not something we're going to talk about today. Now, we have to talk about just the final verdict from all of these things. The 4-4 draw wasn't entertaining chaos for chaos' sake. It was a snapshot of where Manchester United are right now, electrifying going forward, emotionally invested, still learning how to kill games and clearly improving, but not finished. Basically lacking a little bit of consistency and all that. But if United can marry the attacking quality with better control and structure, nights like this will turn into statement wins. We should have won that game in the first half with 4 goals, considering all the goals that were missed and all the block shots and all that. Right now, these are lessons for us, and sometimes lessons hurt the most. So we're going to basically just take those positives from the game and move on from there. But at the end of the day, we have to, all boils down to the fact that Man United, scored 4 goals and we're second in the league for most goals scored. Second only to Manchester City. It is what it is. So let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. These are things we learn. There's a whole lot that's popping off on social media. There's the Bruno situation. There's the Menu situation, the Menu drama. I've done some short videos on those, but I think we need to talk about them in more longer form videos so we can actually analyze the details of what has gone on. But it is what it is. Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comment section. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Goodbye. God bless.